Okay, with John C. Liang, Maryjane Is One Word. Played at the Chicago Feedback Film Festival. Really interesting film. Obviously about a young adopted woman meets her biological mother for the first time. Kind of just this done in like 13 minutes. It has a punch to it. Curious, John, what was your motivation to write this? Because you wrote the screenplay as well. What was your motivation to write this story?
Well, honestly, Matthew, it's from my mom. My mom's the real Mary Jane, and she was adopted, and she never actually reached out to her biological parents. She had the resources and the opportunity to do so, but she chose to lock that door, lock herself off from that possibility. And I really think that hurt her. Sadly, she passed away a decade ago, and so that door is locked forever. I wanted to explore this is a what if.
Yeah.
Um, what if she had reached out to her biological mom? And I really had the idea for a while, but once I met my cast, things really fell into place. I wanted to explore this and sort of make this as a tribute to my mom.
If a what if situation, why do you think your mom regretted not reaching out to her biological parents?
I think she did, but she was a very proud woman, so she'd never admit it.
Gotcha.
She was so adamant, she was so against meeting them or even trying to find them that I think people only get that passionate, that angry about stuff that actually really bothers them.
Of course. It is interesting because there's I've heard like personally a couple different versions of this kind of situation where one is extremely happy that they got to meet their biological parents and they see of course similarities. You kind of project your similarities onto that and then some of them are are regretful of it because I think that it's all about expectations, about what expectations you have for the situation.
Right.
Yes, right?
Exactly.
So, like in terms of your mom, she probably didn't want, she did like what like if something doesn't happen, then she can't be sad about it.
Exactly. Or mad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, her attitude was always her parents are her adoptive parents. These are my parents,
Yeah.
and I don't care about who I'm related to genetically.
That's another thing too, right? Where you're so like you feel like you're betraying your adoptive parents, your real parents, I guess, the ones who
Yeah,
raised you by reaching out for your biological parents.
yeah. That's how she felt.
That makes sense. It's a quandary. I don't know personally like how that was, but I'm in the category where I wish I had biological parents, but you know what I mean? I think people have that as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Well, to your point, my lead actor, Anna Joller, her mother-in-law is adopted, and she was a great resource, and she met her biological family, and it went very well, but it's not like they took the place of
Sure.
her parents she grew up with, her family she grew up with. And then our other actor, Catherine Kelly, her husband is adopted, and he met his biological parents. For him, it weren't really well, but he told us, because we interviewed him as well in our research, his brother had a much more negative experience meeting their biological family. So it really is sort of a case by case basis thing.
So there was a short film that we showed at our festival. I remember it really well because it was the last festival before the COVID
Oof.
shutdown. So you kind of remember those moments. And the film was about like the documentary filmmaker was meeting her biological mom for the first time, and her mother, her like adoptive mother, what was so happy like that was happening because in her point of view is that thank God that that person, that biological mom, adopted my daughter, right? Because if it wasn't for her giving up for adoption and seeing the birth throughout, I wouldn't have this amazing life with this my daughter,
I wouldn't
right?
have my daughter
Yeah.
if she
And
hadn't put her up for adoption.
yeah, and so she was so overwhelmingly in support of her daughter meeting her biological mom. Like and they met, they even the adopted mother met as well. And they just had this connection, and it's what they're showing us in the documentary. But it was a very heartfelt kind of movie, and it was really about her adoptive mom. That's who the main character of the film was, right? So
Oh, what's the name of that movie? I'd like to check it
I
out.
should I should remember the movie. I can hopefully get it to you afterwards or even during the podcast.
Great.
But yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So basically, so tell me about so the co-writer, sorry, the co-writer of the film was the main actress, right?
Yeah, Anna Joller helped me write the story.
So did
And
you, I'm assuming you knew her, like you wanted her to play the lead in the film before?
yeah, you that's correct. You asked me about how I came up with it. I had had the idea for actually 2 years, but it was sort of just rolling around in my head. Anna and I made a film before this that's very different. It's a horror film called Reunion. And once we worked together, I just knew she was the right person to play Mary Jane, to play MJ, because it was sort of like, even though this is a fictionalized account of fictional version, it's intimidating to try and cast someone to play a version of your own mother.
Yeah.
Once I met Anna, things fell into place. I knew she was the right person. She helped me develop the character and the storyline, and she helped me. She found Catherine Kelly, who plays her mother, her biological mother, Catherine. And I can honestly say, without Anna, I don't think this film would exist.
So she was really keen on obviously playing the role in the film, I guess, right?
Yes, she was very enthusiastic. She was very excited because it was a very different role and a very different film from our first movie, Reunion, our first work together.
Yeah.
And and then a casting director friend of hers named Sarah Lindsay connected us with the other actor, Catherine Kelly, and we had a coffee meeting, the three of us, Catherine, Anna, and I, and it was just like instant chemistry. I knew I could work with Catherine. Catherine and Anna got along very well, and as you can see, they also look
I was
alike.
gonna say they look like mother and daughter. Yeah.
It's plausible. I That was important to me because sometimes you see a movie and it's like, this is my brother. It's like, this is not
Yeah.
plausible.
Yeah.
I can't see this at all. And it was important to me because she didn't grow up with the characters, didn't grow up together, and I wanted her to be able to see someone and think, oh my God, that looks like how I'm gonna look in, several decades.
Yeah.
Like instantly recognize the same features, the same, skin tone, hair color, all that stuff.
All right, so you had your lead actress, and then you found the one playing the mom. So that's you the way you shot the film. It's really them having a conversation. Not that there's
Yeah.
not direction happening in the film, but really that's sort of their performance is key to your film. It's fair to say, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So
Isn't it?
where did you film it? Or what was the location?
It was a coffee shop in the north part of the valley here in LA, in
Yeah.
Northridge, California. Um, and and I have to give a lot of credit to Anna and Catherine because they did a lot of prep that honestly didn't involve me. They said they had email exchanges that they wrote in character. I still have never seen those. They had phone calls in character, um, sort of like the prologue almost, like, well, what were these characters' correspondence and their phone calls before this meeting? And they did all of that to individually get into character and also figure out what is the chemistry, what is the dynamic between these two women, because obviously when they meet for the first time, it's awkward. We had a table read and a rehearsal day before the shoot that was very intensive. We tweaked some things. We talked and read through and rehearsed stuff in between setups on the set. And so because it is very theatrical, I mean it's almost like a play. I had more time while the crew was setting things up to sit down with Anna and Catherine and go over things before each shot, each take. And really, that prep, both my working with them as a director and their individual preparation they did without me before the shoot, helped a great deal. So when we got there, we were really ready on the day.
Gotcha. And then how many did you just shoot it in one day?
We had only one day because that coffee shop is closed one day a week. So we had one Sunday to do it. Actually, it was last year. It was Sunday, May the 4th. So we kept saying, May the 4th be with you. And I actually think that gave people a little cheer, a little boost. It was stressful because you don't have the cushion of, oh, well, we'll get it tomorrow. But we all worked very well under pressure, and not just the cast, but the crew also uh, really was very motivated. They know we got to be out of here tonight. So, and we can't be here once the sun sets. So we didn't even have, a full day.
Gotcha. And then how did you kind of shoot it? You kind of had like them in their own individual shots, them and then you had the two shot, I guess, right? Did you shoot
Yeah.
multiple cameras or did you just shoot one camera?
No, we only had one camera. My DP, Carrie Morgan Glassman's really a pro. So she and I worked extensively on the look, the shot list. I want to also throw out a shout out to our production designer, Samantha Robles, because Samantha not only designed the look of the coffee shop, we changed up a lot of stuff in the coffee shop, but also Samantha had a whole color scheme, color coding for each character, for Catherine, for MJ, to sort of be like, this woman's energy is like this, so it's going to be blue and green. This woman's energy is more these colors. Um, and and they also did a lot. Samantha did a lot of prep. Carrie and I did a lot of prep, and so we were very well prepared once we got to set. Um, I'm a big believer in preparation, rehearsal, um, not winging it, not like, well, let's see what happens, especially when you only have one shoot day.
Yeah. So tell me about the arc of the film, like we talked about the plot, like but thematically, what are you trying to say in this conversation? What's the point of the film?
Well, I would say that the point is to not close your heart off to possibility. The arc really is MJ, the first line she has is bad idea. This is a bad idea. This is a terrible idea. And she wants to leave. Her arc is her opening herself up to the possibility of a relationship with her biological mother, not being so closed off, not being so certain, um, not being so cocksure that, oh, well, this isn't good. I'm gonna not do this. And I would say Catherine's arc is not for asking forgiveness or trying to make up for giving up MJ, because I mean, giving her up may well have been the right decision,
Yeah,
but trying to make peace with this decision that has bothered her entire adult life, that has haunted her, because it's a what if for Catherine as well. She thinks, well, what if I had kept her? What if I had been her mother, raised her? What would my life have been like? And Catherine going into this is really afraid that, this is not going to work. Obviously, MJ gets up and leaves initially, so that fear comes true pretty quickly. But it's both women are trying to make peace with this part of their lives. It's unalterable. It happened. There's no going back and changing it.
Yeah.
So they've both spent a lot of years avoiding it, running from it. This is them confronting it by meeting each other
Yeah.
and finding something positive at the end of it by meeting each other, by having this encounter.
And so what's next, I guess? Would there be a sequel in the film?
Well, not a sequel, but
I'm saying that tongue in cheek, but go ahead. Yeah. Yeah.
oh no,
Yeah.
we are, we have had a lot of great responses, not just from, but thank you from Chicago feedback.
Yeah.
But we've been in a few festivals this year so far. We've had a lot of really positive responses. So we're thinking of expanding this into a feature film, possibly. It would be obviously, well, what happens next?
Yeah.
How does this relationship evolve? How both Catherine and MJ are married. MJ has a daughter. Catherine has a granddaughter. How do the other family members feel about this when they meet? You
Yeah.
know, how does that go? How does that play out? Is there some ambivalence? Well, this isn't your real grandmother. Is that an issue? And so we are exploring that possibility. There are a lot of directions it could go in.
Yeah. So people like there is a still there is still a hang up with the biological, I guess, right?
Yeah,
Where
I would say that my mom always she didn't even say my biological mother. She would say the egg donor. So there can be a lot of animosity. Um, and
so
that,
your mom said that?
yeah, my mom called her mom the egg donor, her
Oh,
biological
okay.
mom. She didn't even want to say my biological mother. She would just be like, "Oh, the egg donor."
Yeah.
She had a lot of anger,
Yeah, I
but
see that. Yeah.
but we're Anna, Catherine, and I are thinking and talking about possibly expanding in MJ into a feature, and then Anna and I are going to make a feature film later this year of Reunion, which is the film that we made before Maryjane Is One
Yeah.
Word.
So that's also
So
getting some awards and stuff like that too, right? You got two films
yeah,
on the market right now. Yeah.
yeah. We just screened both films a couple of weeks ago at the Golden State Film Festival, and it was very exciting. So I just am really excited to keep working with these actors and with this crew and do more good work.
Because you already directed a feature, right? You made a feature in the past, right?
Yeah, I made a feature horror film called Recovery, and that came out right before COVID.
So you got that out of your system, right? Like,
Yes and no. I would say it scratched the itch.
yeah,
Every director, every filmmaker is going to say this. You wonder your whole life if you'll ever make a feature.
yeah,
Um, and the itch is scratched in that I made it, I know I can make it, and I made a good movie. I made a movie I'm proud of,
yeah.
but also I want to make more movies, more
That's
features.
sort of what I meant, is that like the first feature is usually the hardest one to do. That's the hardest film you can
Yeah,
do, right? And
it's
that's what
tough.
I meant. You kind of got that out. You're completed the hard task. Not the
Yeah,
next ones are not going to be hard or easy, but it's like you got like you know what you're doing. You know you know the process, I guess.
yeah, exactly. And that helped me in making Maryjane Is One Word because, by that point, I've made Recovery, I made Reunion. I was, those are horror movies, and I was afraid, honestly, to make a straight drama. It was branching out, but after I met Anna, I really felt like it was the time to move forward with this. Um, and I I'm really glad that I did. I feel like if my mom were here, she would be, I hope she'd be proud of the movie. I actually asked my dad. Uh, he said if your mother was alive, she would say, "Well, it's about time you finally told my story."
Your mom seems like a character.
She was. I had to water her down.
Yeah. No, but it's almost like you shouldn't in a sense where like what her emotions were for like about like the like calling her biological mom the egg donor. Those are interesting emotions to explore, right? Those are
Yeah,
interesting kind of elements to explore. It's almost like she like I'm just projecting, but it's almost like she has guilt like for even feeling like wanting to even meet her because she like perhaps I'm assuming she loved her adoptive mother so much, right? So
she loved her adoptive dad so much.
yeah.
She loved her adoptive mom, but
Well, mother,
I'm just they had a complicated relationship, and I'm just spitballing, but her and her mom had a complicated relationship, and maybe she didn't want another mom. Maybe she thought, oh, this is
yeah,
one is enough.
yeah. Well, mother-daughter relationships are, they're
Uh,
notorious for being difficult, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Right. So, like, yeah, they're not like, yeah. So basically, but yeah, maybe like I said, those are interesting emotions to explore, right? Those are interesting kind of elements, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and
To yeah,
if we expand it into a feature,
yeah,
that's what I would want to explore. Um, and how do you integrate a new person into your life? I mean, when you've got a family of your own already.
yeah, exactly. No, they're interesting, but it's also about like what family is, what is like
Right.
what's biological. I did this is a kind of a weird analogy, but I think that my wife's sister's husband and my daughter get along very well. Like they're very close, but they're
Oh
not
yeah.
biologically related.
Right.
There's no
That's
biological
her.
gene in them, but they're
That's her.
family, right?
That's
So
her uncle by marriage.
yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that, but they're connected, like they're
Right.
like very connected and very similar, but that's because that's who they are and they love each other, right? So
Right. And I think a lot about these days you hear a great deal about found family in the culture.
yeah, like
As an only
friends and stuff. Yeah, yeah,
right. Like I'm an only child, so I have a lot of found family. And I think that's also another reason I wanted to make this film because it does explore the question and the nature of family. Are we bound to each other? What do I owe you because we share DNA?
yeah,
That sort of thing.
yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. That's the interesting part about it, right? Like
Right.
that's the fascinating part, right?
Exactly. Yes.
So okay, so basically, are you working on the feature right now for that script?
Yeah, I'm working on that while I am doing pre-production for this reunion feature. I'm working on the script in a different style because I'm used to working on horror and it's very plot driven, especially who lives and who dies. And this is a very different type of story, obviously. So it's more organic, more improvisational, not so much like, in a horror movie, someone has to like die by page 30 or whatever.
Yeah,
But in this kind of regular drama, it's not so strict
yeah,
and it's a different process. And also, it's just, I don't want to say it's more loose, but it's very different emotions and it's a very different type of writing, which I'm not as accustomed to as a horror guy. But I also I have a lot of family friends who are still around. My dad is still alive, fortunately, and I have been like, okay, well, what would I want to be authentic without being I want to be true to who my mom was without being like, oh, I'm throwing shade at her from or anything. Like I want to be true to her while also still having the freedom and the latitude of working in fiction. So,
Yeah.
it's challenging because it's sort of autobiographical. But we changed it. A friend of mine saw the movie and said, "Why doesn't Mary Jane have a little boy named John in the movie?" And I said, it's fiction.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You're just taking the emotional elements of which we all do, right?
Right.
In
Exactly.
storytelling, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But
I think that, yeah,
I'm
go ahead.
excited. No, no, I was just saying I'm excited for to work on it.
Because it seems like this is a pretty like because I'm on your website now, Lonely Devil Films, and it's there. It's very like even if you go on this website without any context of knowing you, oh, this guy makes horror films, right?
Yeah.
That's basically what I'm seeing, right? Like it's, dark turns and resurrecting a dead twin sister, right?
Right.
Like
That's
these
what
are
you're doing.
these are your like summaries, right? So this
Yeah.
seems to be like your kind of like drama coming out party in a sense.
Yeah, that's actually a really good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Um, I I don't know past this if I'm going to do more dramatic, straight drama stuff, but I would like to keep exploring this story and this relationship. And, after that, whatever happens, happens. But I'm really glad I took the leap. I was really intimidated. Um, a horror movie, if it's silly or if something doesn't work or if it's, you know, dialogue's bad. Oh, it's campy.
Yeah.
In a drama, you can't do that. Like a bad drama is just bad. You can't say, "Oh, well, it's a horror movie. It's not supposed to be that serious." You can't say that with a drama. So I think that was a big reason I was nervous to change it up.
You got to nail the tone. The tone's
Yeah.
got has to be nailed from ground zero, right? So
Right. Because otherwise, a bad drama is just like,
a
The
bad film.
Room. The
Yeah.
Room. Yeah.
Yeah. And which happens, right? So, because we have to believe these characters. Like
Right. Exactly.
when the mom and the daughter meets in that coffee shop, you're suspending the belief that this is what's happening.
Yeah.
And yeah. And if the tone's off just a little bit, the performance
It
off
all
just a
falls
little bit,
apart.
we're gone, right? Where the
There's
audience is gone. Yeah.
there's much less margin for error.
Yeah. But
But I'm really proud of the film. I'm really happy with the response we've been getting. Thanks again for screening for your audience at Chicago Feedback.
yeah.
As a native, I live in LA now, but as a native Chicagoan, I am very proud of that.
Oh, that's
And
so cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
did you know that?
I think I knew that you went to NYU. So
No,
right. So
I'm
yeah.
from Lincoln Park.
Okay. Oh, great. So you like started Chicago, went to NYU in LA. So you're
Yeah,
hitting the triangle, I guess, right? Like,
exactly.
yeah,
But I get um, back to Chicago regularly. So
that's great. And then, but
yeah,
you're based in your dad's in LA as well?
no, no, that's the reason. He and my dad and his partner are still in Chicagoland. They live in Oak Lawn.
Okay, gotcha.
So I'm gonna be back to visit in a couple of months when the weather's finally nice.
Gotcha.
But I visit when the weather's not so nice also.
So like just to wrap this up, I'm just curious because like Anna seems like such a great collaborator for this film. Where
Yeah.
did you meet her?
Uh, they're through mutuals. So my producers on Reunion knew a casting director who knew Anna and recommended her because we didn't want to do auditions. We wanted to just find our cast. And then a good college friend of mine and her husband independently knew Anna. So when this casting director friend of my producer, Alyssa Devine, this casting director said, "Oh, you should cast Anna. She would be great for this." I was like, "Anna, I think I know her." And I asked my friends, Nick and Stephanie, "You know Anna Joller, right?" And they're like, "Oh yeah." Nick said, "I used to live with Anna in New York." And so I said, "Is she good? Is she a pro?" And like, "Yeah, she's great." So Anna and I had lunch and we hit it off. We talked about the reunion script and I knew pretty quickly that she was the right person for the role. And then we had a great experience working on Reunion. And so then I cast her in this. I approached her and she read the script and she really enjoyed it. And, and we're, before we get to the Reunion feature, we're working on another short. I'm back to horror. Anna's going to be in this vampire short film that I wrote and will direct called Bleeders, and we are going to do that this summer. So I'm very excited about that. But it's a different type of role. Anna says to me, because in real life she's the most cheerful person, and she says, "Are you ever going to write like a nice character for me to play, like a person who's actually nice?" I was like, "Yeah, one day." But she's really wonderful, and I believe in when you find someone you work well with, you stick with them.
Yeah. Well, she seems to
Um,
have a lot of experience, right? She's had a
yeah,
nice working actor career, right? So,
yeah. She has, and she's also a mom. That photo in MJ is her actual husband and their daughter.
yeah.
And so, as a mom, Catherine's a mom too. They both understood. They understood the characters in ways that I mean, I'm not a parent and I can never be a mother. They understood the roles in ways that I never could, as actual moms. But yeah, Anna's great, and I'm really excited to keep working with her and with the rest of the cast and crew. I like to bring people back. I like to work with the same people again because you have a. It's not just that you can rely on them and they can rely on you, but you.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of the guesswork out of on set.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, she knows what she's doing. She did like that's not an easy film to act in where like for literally 10 minutes of the film is two people having a conversation, right? So,
yeah, and Anna's in pretty much every shot of the movie.
yeah. She is. She is in every scene, right? So basically,
Yeah,
but it's like it's really two scenes, but it's like, yeah, she's there. Like she's and it's
exactly.
her arc, right? So,
But yeah, I love working with her, and I'm excited to make these next few movies with her.
well, that's amazing. So she, yeah, it sounds like she's doing well for
She
herself.
is, and I hope to be back uh once we have these movies and they exist to submit them back to Chicago Feedback.
Well, we're always going to be here, man. So, well, you're a talented guy, so you got
Oh,
lots
thank
going
you.
on. So keep. I know it's not the industry's in a weird spot right now, but just keep making
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah. Well, it's like they say, if you want something done, give it to a busy person.
Yeah, that's what you do, right? So, but yeah, just keep plugging along, and then
That's
something
what
like yeah, as you know, right?
I do. Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah. One last unserious question.
Oh,
What's a
sure.
better city, LA or New York?
Oh, if I had to answer, I would actually say New York.
Yeah,
But I'm too old to live there anymore. It's too much excitement. It's the Joan Didion quote about New York is a city for the very young.
yeah,
I was there for a wedding last fall and it was great, but I was like, I could never live there again. It's too much. It's like Chicago on crack.
yeah. I could see that. Yeah, I went to school there as well, so yeah, that's like
So
yeah,
I love to visit New York. I enjoy living in LA though.
make
Like
that makes sense.
It's way chiller here.
So I think it was Baz Luhrmann said, "Live in New York until it makes you too hard, and then get out of there." Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
And I think that's what you did, right?
I try.
All right, let's talk again when you make your next film. Keep at it. Keep in touch
Absolutely.
and let me know when everything's done.
Will do. Thank you so much, Matthew. I
Thank you.
appreciate your having me on.